Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. We're back to the old subject of PEDs, and I think a certain Mr. ARTUR BETERBIEV has dodged a bullet, so to speak, because there's a Daily Mail article, certainly not my favourite publication, but I'll read it anyway. It says that BETERBIEV, there was an atypical finding in a VADA drugs test in December. But the fight with Callum Smith, which is on Saturday, will go ahead because this is, again, an atypical finding. Now, what does atypical mean? It means that it's neutral. So if you say he's morally atypical, it means that you're morally neutral, or, it's, asexual means you don't really have a sex, for example. An atypical finding means that there's smoke, but we couldn't prove the fire. Let's put it that way. And apparently the atypical finding refers to raised levels of human growth hormone and testosterone metabolite, 5D androstenediol, which I've probably mispronounced, but I don't know what that is. But all you need to know is human growth hormone and testosterone, raised levels. Now, I watched a video Inside the Distance, Lee over at Inside the Distance. He raised a good point that about age, and that is that I think we all basically understand that as the older you get as a male, the less testosterone is produced. And so when you hit your sort of mid-30s, late 30s, it starts to go down. It depends on the individual, but the hormone, the testosterone production tends to go down and down and down and down. And for BETERBIEV at 38, to have a raised human growth hormone level is extremely suspicious. But it has not reached the point where it's classed as pissing hot, as a failed PED test. So he will go ahead with the fight. It's not a PED test, it's not a positive PED test. But the suspicion is clearly there. Now, it was Kevin Ioli who reported this, and I'll sift through this article and raise a few points here, because he's claiming that this has happened. BETERBIEV denies it, and it says it's come to my attention. This is BETERBIEV speaking, probably it's BETERBIEV's team speaking through BETERBIEV. It's come to my attention that Callum Smith intends to disseminate, not the sort of word someone would use if English is not their first language, disseminate misleading information about my VADA testing for this fight. Let me make it clear, I am a clean athlete. Well, they all are, aren't they? No one ever says, oh yeah, you got me, sorry about that. Callum is already searching for excuses, looking for a way out. See you Saturday. All right, fair enough. And Callum Smith himself has said the following. He said, it's not a pass test. It's not a failed test. The fight's still happening. That's the main thing. I'm not a scientist. I'm a fighter. All right, fair enough. I'm here to beat him, take those belts and go back home. And Smith's promoter, Eddie Hearn, seemed flummoxed by the findings on Thursday evening, but stressed that contractually nothing could be done about the result. So Eddie's kind of implying, yeah, something there, which I think there most certainly is. But we haven't got any proof. It's not a failed test, so where are we? There's a contract in place. Yeah. On this occasion, I don't think Eddie's being obscurantist about that. It's not an adverse finding, an atypical finding, but still raised levels, which, as a promoter of a fighter in the other corner, is a concern, said Eddie. As he told Fight Hub TV this. We've been working with VADA to try to understand the reasons why, presumably for the atypical finding. Contractually, we can't do anything about it because it's not an adverse finding, but it was an atypical result of blood and urine of higher raised levels of HGH and testosterone, which we've already covered. However, VADA founder and president Dr. Margaret Goodman was keen to clear up speculation of wrongdoing in her pronouncement of atypical findings as relatively routine in repeat drugs testing. Atypical findings are fairly common in PED testing and do not constitute an adverse test result, she said. She told Boxing News that. They can result from various causes. Atypical findings generally warrant the collection of further samples, but no negative inference should be drawn from an atypical finding in and of itself. Okay, so she's sort of smoothing things over, and she is a doctor, and if you've followed the sport for decades, which I have, you will know Margaret Goodman has been in the boxing. She's been a doctor in world boxing, and quite a respected one for a long, long time, years and years. And where does this leave us? I mean, as Lee said over and inside the distance boxing, he said, there's no smoke without fire. And again, I repeat, I agree with that. I mean, there is smoke, but we can't prove the fire. Or let's put it this way: we can't prove that Beterbiev and his team have created the smoke. But it's very suspicious, isn't it? But the fight is going ahead. If Beterbiev wins, if he knocks Smith out, if he looks to have that great engine of his at 38, what will people say? Will they cast shadow over his victory? I don't know. I mean, I suppose they will, but let's be honest, there have been fighters who have never failed a drugs test in their life, and yet the suspicions are palpable. I mean, really, really immense. Anyway, give me your opinion on this. What do you think? Do you think there's anything to it? Do you think does it affect anything? In your opinion, does it mar Beterbiev's win if he does win? Of course, if he gets knocked out or he loses, probably people won't say anything. But yeah. Tell me what you think. Comments below. I'll have a look and answer however many I can. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. You're doing us a massive favour by subscribing, and also hit the like button if you've got a moment. And I'll catch you later. Bye for now.